Hey there, guys. It's the Week 12 preview, the first time we're playing teams for a second time. It's also trade deadline. Um, game of the week this week's going to be the rematch of the week. But let's talk about some trades that just happened. I mean, Devin has gone all in for this year. He's decided to trade Ezekiel Elliott to get Aaron Jones. We'll see if that works out. Danny Wynot has gone from Tyler Lockett over to Cooper Cup. Chark's now on Calder's team. Devontae Parker's on my team. Breeda's on Devin's team, along with 75 draft picks we exchanged. So, still one day left on the trade deadline. Get your offers in for Josh Jacobs. Someone's got to win that lottery. All right, so game of the week. It might be a condensed one because I've got to go spend some time with my little girl. So it's Deke again. Not Deke. Deke's not game of the week. Drew. Drew against Rich again. So last week, Rich lost to Drew. So we'll see what happens this time. So a different bye week, but seems to be not too bad for either team. Quarterbacks, it's got to be Drew with the advantage with Lamar Jackson, but Baker Mayfield's playing Miami, so you never know. Um, just got a question on MS Facebook Messenger on whether or not we can do a conditional trade. No. No, you can't. You need to trade or not trade. Um, so, back to the preview. Le'Veon Bell, uh, running backs. Le'Veon Bell versus Joe Mixon. I'll give that advantage this week to Le'Veon Bell. Joe Mixon's not bad, and he's been doing really well lately, but going against Pittsburgh defense versus going against Oakland defense. So I give Le'Veon Bell the advantage there. Wide receivers is all Julio Jones. Um, so far, that's three positions, three Drews. Julio Jones against Tampa. Tampa sucks so much, and Julio Jones hasn't scored a touchdown since like week 2, so maybe he might be due. Kenny Galladay was shut out, but he's going against Washington, so both wide receivers should put up big days. The question is, can Jeff Driscoll throw the ball to Kenny Galladay? Tight ends. Here's another one for Drew. Jonnu Smith. Because Kelsey's on a bye, so that hurts Rich. So Jonnu Smith versus Jacksonville versus Zach Ertz. Philly's going to force feed him the ball. Nelson Aguilar's missing practice. Alshon Jeffrey's limited. So 4 for 4 for Drew so far. But this is where it really takes a turn in terms of Rich, because the flex position, Allen Robinson versus the Giants, that's a good matchup, but he's still got Mitchell Trubisky throwing him the ball. Sony Michel against Dallas. Dallas is a good defense. Sony Michel's not having a great year. And Cortland Sutton against Buffalo. So those are Drew's three. Buffalo's tough matchup for wide receivers, great matchup for running backs. Over on Rich's side, Mark Ingram, he's a stud. You want all the running game Baltimore you can get. Jarvis Landry stacking with Baker Mayfield going against Miami. That's a good matchup. He's scored in like 3 straight weeks. And Tevin Coleman versus Green Bay. So Tevin Coleman's a question mark, but he's still the number 1 guy in San Francisco. So that's heavy favorite for Rich over there. Kickers, we'll know tonight. Fairbairn versus Carlson for Oakland. So I would give the advantage on that one to Fairbairn. Defense, don't know who Rich is going to pick up for defensive line. Right now, he's got Joey Bosa on a bye, so that hurts him. But his linebacker and defensive back are more than capable. Saying that, linebacker scored 18.5 points for Drew last week, and he's going against Miami this week. So I would say linebacker's a wash. DB advantage to Rich. And D-line, I don't think Calais Campbell's all that good anymore, but I don't know who Rich is going to get. So we'll say that's Drew. Overall, I think Drew is probably points-wise maybe the favorite for NFL.com. Yeah, and he's going to be for NFL.com. But I think Rich gets him back this week. I think Rich pulls it out. The way Drew wins this game is Lamar Jackson putting up another stud week. Game 2, me against Yip. So key players for me are Deshaun Watson. He sucked big time last week to the point that this week I worried about putting him in. I thought about putting Derek Carr in. Other big ones for me are Odell Beckham Jr. He was so close last week to having a good week. This week he gets Miami. And then the last one is going to be it's going to be Derrick Henry. Last year against Jacksonville, he put up 1 billion points. So hoping he does a good one again this year. For Yip, the key's going to be Daniel Jones. He just picked him up, just set his lineup off free agency because he had both quarterbacks on a bye, so that hurts him. But Daniel Jones scored 37 points when I put him in, so he's going against Chicago, a little tougher matchup than when I put him in, but he could do it. Trent Williams against the Jets, he could have a big day. Jets are easy to throw on, and Derek Carr's been throwing it really well. And the final key is I'm gonna do the stack here for Yip is Darius Slayton against Chicago. If Jones and Slayton have a big day, Yip could take me down. I'm not gonna pick him, obviously. I'm picking me, but can't be overlooked. NFL.com has me as a heavy favorite, but that doesn't matter. Last week, Yip, he would have beat me. Graham, so another rematch of last year's final, Graham versus Dan, and it looks like Dan is going to start Dwayne Haskins. He's got Kyler Murray on a bye and Phillip Rivers on a bye, so Dwayne Haskins. Okay. So, key players for Dan is going to be Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins, key player number 1, key player number 2, key player number 3. No, I'm going to go Dwayne Haskins as a key player, obviously. I'm going to go Calvin Ridley against Tampa, that same Julio matchup. He did really good last week. And then number 3, Bo Scarborough versus Washington. So those guys do well. Dan's got a chance. Who do we got for keys for Graham? We got Matt Ryan going against Tampa Bay. That should be a point fest for him. Christian McCaffrey's going against a great New Orleans defense, but he's lighting everybody up. And it's probably Ronald Jones. So Ronald Jones against Atlanta would be a key. Graham's team looks strong on paper, but Evan Ingram's probably not going to play this week. I hear that he took himself out of his own fantasy lineup. So I don't think that's a thing. But we'll see. So I'll pick Graham because I don't believe in Dwayne Haskins. But I've been wrong before 5 times last week. So far, picking Rich, Graham, Dave. 3 playoff teams. Another rematch. We'll fix this for next year so you don't play people back to back. Jason Hahn has an idea on the schedule if we can set it manually. So we'll fix this next year. But Matty Ice versus Hahn. So last week Hahn got stomped by Matty Ice. So this week I'm going to go the other way and try and get it wrong again. But key players for Matty Ice are going to be George Kittle and whether or not he plays. He hasn't practiced. Hooper, his backup tight end, also hasn't practiced, and he's not going to play this week, I hear. He's got a chance to play next week, but he's going to have to find a tight end probably. So tight end position for Matty Ice will be a key. Anthony Miller is going to be a key against New York. He had 11 targets last week, so he's an interesting play. And then Aaron Rodgers versus San Francisco. So San Francisco's got a real good defense, as everybody knows. So we'll see what Aaron Rodgers can do. On the other side, Hahn's rolling with, I like Gurley against Baltimore to have a big game. So if they do what they did last week and give him the ball. So I would take Gurley in this matchup as a key player. Some interesting lineup choices for Hahn. Not that I know whether or not he's got any options, but Darius Geis. Detroit can't stop the run. Darius Geis is probably going to get a run out. He had 10 touches or so last week. So if Darius Geis is good to run out, he could be big. So we'll see what that goes. And the last key player is going to be, I love that tight end play, Ryan Griffin. to New York. So the guy, all the targets that Chris Herndon should have got, Ryan Griffin's getting, and he's scoring a bunch of touchdowns. So those are the 3 key players for Han. So I guess, geez, this is a tough one for me to pick because Han last week got crushed. But looking at his team, I want to say they're pretty even this week. Do I go to the well again and pick Han? Yep. Han, you got this. Maybe. All right. Deke, sitting on Josh Jacobs. One more day. So we got Deke versus Calder. Deke says he's given up, but he hasn't given up yet because he hasn't made any trades. So Calder's trading like crazy. So key players for Deke: DJ Moore against New Orleans. If Lattimore plays, he's in a real tough matchup. If Lattimore doesn't play, he should be able to get the ball. Saquon against Chicago. What last time we saw Saquon, he had 13 carries for 1 yard. Probably not happening again. So Saquon's a key. Boy, Deke's got some good guys in matchups this week. Vance McDonald has a good matchup. Kareem Hunt has a good matchup. But I'm going to say the next key player is going to be his running back, Josh Jacobs. He's probably going to trade him. But if he doesn't, he's got a real good matchup. If he gets traded, the key player is going to be who he decides to put a quarterback. Because Green Bay, Jimmy Garoppolo versus Dallas, Tom Brady. Does he just love Tom Brady so much that he decides to lose with him all the time? Tom Brady himself said he's more like a game manager. So, we'll see. Bold. But, on the other side, you got last week's number 1 quarterback, Josh Allen, going against Denver. That's key because that's not an easy matchup. John Brown could get the Chris Harris treatment, and if he does, he's probably not getting what he did last week, that's for sure. But, John Brown. He's stacking them. He's stacking John Brown and Singletary again. Singletary's got a good matchup. But, key players, I said it, Josh Allen, quarterback. Yeah, I'm going to go with John Brown as another key player. He needs to go big. So I mentioned them before. I mentioned them again. And the final key player for him is going to be DJ Chark. Chark versus Tennessee. Tennessee's got a good defense, good corners, but Chark seems matchup proof. So we shall see. Depends on whether or not, I guess, he gets that conditional trade. He might. And the last matchup, the Chub Chub Train takes his 11-0 record to Danny Why Not. Danny got better this week. Cooper Kupp coming in, going against Baltimore. They're going to have to throw a little bit. So he's a key for Danny. I have no idea who M. Johnson is. Wide receiver for Indianapolis. Philip Lindsay. I know who that is. He's a key player for Danny. Philip Lindsay is one of the guys that fantasy analysts are saying is a league winner. So if you got Philip Lindsay and you're in a playoff position, he's got great matchups. So Philip Lindsay is a key. The Buffalo can get run on. So we got Cooper Kupp and Philip Lindsay are key players. And Jalen Samuels, if Connor doesn't play. So if Connor plays, he's got a great matchup. If Connor doesn't play, what's the usage for Jalen Samuels? Is he running back? Is he just a dump? Is he James White? I don't know. Other side of the ball, Devin, rolling out Pro Bowlers, left, right, and center. Listen to this lineup. Russell Wilson, Nick Chubb, Tyler Lockett, Mark Andrews, T.Y. Hilton, DeAndre Hopkins, Andrew Jones. That's sick. And he didn't trade garbage to get those guys. Great drafting, Devin. Key players for Devin, Russell Wilson against Philly. He might outscore a team in our league this week by himself. But at least Philly's at home. We have a little better defense at home. So Russell Wilson is a key. Aaron Jones is a key against that tough San Francisco defense. And I'm going to say 2 players because they're both playing tonight. T.Y. Hilton and DeAndre Hopkins. If Devin gets off to a fast start tonight with big games from both those guys, it's going to be good. So, picking Devin to win. I don't remember if I picked the last game or not, but I'm picking Calder to beat Deke. So, here are my picks for this week. Game of the week, I'm picking Rich Revenge to stay in second place and stay on the bye. I'm picking myself. I'm picking Graham. I'm picking Han. I'm picking Calder. And I'm picking Devin. That should make next week interesting. One of Deke and Calder, whoever wins that match, is going to be one game back of the playoffs. Or tied. Or tied for the last playoff spot. It's coming down to the wire. Who doesn't love that? Remember, tomorrow is trade deadline day. So get your trades in, get them out there, and somebody buy Josh Jacobs. Do it. Let's think more about this conditional pick. Here's the question. Can we do a conditional trade? If I win, the pick can be higher at the end of the year. Does anyone have a problem with that? We've never done it. I said no. You could trade those picks in the offseason. It wouldn't be a problem. I think that is a question for the commissioner. Can we trade conditionally? I like it. But I trade all my picks away. So I guess that one is a question for Derek. Trade or not to trade? Give the higher pick up. Expect to win. That's what I say. All right? So remember, if women don't find you handsome, it's always fantasy.